All right, good evening, everyone. Today is September 6, 2011, Tuesday night at 8:26 p.m. Take two. I apologize for the live viewer watching this, but this is for the recording purpose. I had to do take two. Hello, everyone. This is Katz from Yokoso News, yokosonews.com. Yokoso News is the online website to introduce Japanese culture in English so that you can understand Japan more. However, since the March 11th earthquake and disaster, I've been dedicating part of my time to give you the latest update of what's going on in Tohoku and Fukushima Nuclear Power Plant incident. So first half of the section, I have Tony Torres welcoming from, he's the co-founder of Japan Coast to Coast from Nagoya, Japan. And then he will share with us what happened, what he's doing to help out the good cause for Tohoku area. And second half, I will give you the detailed update of what happened in the previous weekend Typhoon Talas incident. Now NHK confirmed that there are over 100 casualties already. So this is the one of the worst typhoon and rainstorm disaster in last 20 years. I kind of suspect. So I will give you the update in about 30 minutes or so after we talk with Tony, and then going to the Fukushima Nuclear Power Plant and the incident and information and stuff. All right, so here we go. So take two from the 311 disaster update.
Music by Kevin MacLeod.
Now, second time on the guest. Thank you very much.
Hi.
We have Tony Torres, the co-founder of Japan Coast to Coast, joining us on Skype from Nagoya, Japan. So, Tony, thank you very much for joining us for the show tonight, and I really apologize for the second take. But, Tony, would you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Tony Torres. I'm a web marketing consultant by profession. I help companies market their products and services in Japan online. I'm originally from New York City, Brooklyn, New York. I was born and raised in Brooklyn. I came to Japan over 20 years ago and loved it enough to stay here and get married and make it my permanent home. I first came here because of work, but decided that this would be my home afterwards. So that's what I do. That's who I am.
Cool. So would you tell me, so what's the Japan Coast to Coast?
Well, Japan Coast to Coast basically is a non-profit organization founded by myself, Lowell Shepard, and Mark McBennett. We call ourselves the Three Amigos, and we started this. And we organize cycling events, cycling tours across Japan. Usually we start from one coast of Japan to another. That's why we call it Japan Coast to Coast. We have as a matter of fact, we have a Coast to Coast challenge coming up this month on September 19th to the 22nd. It starts in Niigata City and cycles across the Tohoku Mountains over to the Pacific coast of Matsushima City. That's about a 3-day ride, about 300 kilometers. And then after that, the next day, the following day on September 23 to the 25th, we'll be having the first annual Tohoku Cycling Festival on Ojika Peninsula, which is a small peninsula in Miyagi Prefecture. The town of Ojika was seriously damaged and devastated by the March 11th earthquake and tsunami. They're in the middle of rebuilding their lives there. So we thought that holding a festival there would be a good idea to help bring back the much-needed tourism. And cycling tourism is such a great form of tourism because it's very low impact, doesn't really require very much of the people on Ojika. And also the people of Ojika really want to welcome visitors to their beautiful peninsula and the coastal towns.
Yeah. So more information you can find at japanc2c.com. I'll ask you more detail as the show goes on.
Sure.
And then you guys have also the Facebook, I think, facebook.com/Japan Coast to Coast.
Mm-hmm.
This one too is TO, not numeric number 2, but website is Japan C numeric number 2C.com.
That's right.
You can find more information there. Also, if you're watching this live, you're welcome to log on to social timeline like Citron. Thank you for letting me know about the echo. And then Janet, that's your friend, I guess, Tony, right?
Who?
No, who's your friend?
Yeah, I want to say hello to Jeanette Vasquez. She's tuning in Pennsylvania,
okay,
United
cool.
States, and so I just say, "Hey, Jeanette, how are you?"
Cool. So you are welcome to join the conversation via live and ask any question. But at the same time, I'm posting this onto the YouTube as well, so you can leave a comment on YouTube, and also yokosonews.com website page also has a comment section. And so, Tony, first of all, why did you start living in Japan in the first place?
I first came to Japan in 1988. I was working for a company in Tokyo. I stayed for 1 year and loved it a lot and decided I want to return. I returned in 1992, but my girlfriend, who was Japanese at the time, lived in Nagoya City, so I settled here. We got married, and I've been here since 20 years now, almost 20 years in Nagoya City. That's basically I came here because of work and decided to just stay.
Did you get used to living in Japan now then?
Yeah, very much. I've always been interested in Japanese culture. When I was a little boy, I would stay home every Saturday morning and watch Godzilla movies, and that was my introduction to Japanese culture. I would watch how the Japanese lived and how they, everything. I would just study the movies very much and imagine one day I'd visit the country. But I never did get to see Godzilla in person. But that was my introduction to Japanese culture.
Oh, I see. Well, you live in Nagoya. I live in Mie, so Yokkaichi, so it's really close. Sometime we should do more show and introduce Japan Coast to Coast more. Yeah. But today I'm just gonna briefly introduce Japan Coast to Coast. So just make it quick. Tell me, how did you start work? Why did you start Japan Coast to Coast?
We started Japan Coast to Coast. Lowell Shepard and Mark McBennett and myself, we enjoy cycling very much. As a matter of fact, Lowell Shepard,
who's in the center in this picture, right? The one in the Shinkansen platform.
Right. He's the one in the center. He's the old guy. He actually has done a lot of cycling in Japan. He once cycled all the way from the southern part of Japan in Kishu all the way up to Hokkaido. And he did so following the blossoming of the sakura. He wrote a book, a very popular book about his experience following the sakura across Japan as they blossomed from Kyushu all the way up to Hokkaido. And so he's a very experienced cyclist. And we would go out on weekend cycling. We just got the idea, Lowell works professionally in the development field. He works as the director of Hope International Development Agency in Japan. He's the Japan director, and he does a lot of these social type works where they help poor villages, like say in Cambodia or Africa, build clean water projects or help them in ways that allow the villagers to become self-sufficient. And it's really good because I really enjoy that kind of charitable project. I like just giving money and food to the needy. I think it's better to help them become self-sufficient, and Hope International believes in that too. So we thought, well, why don't we start this cycling group as a way to introduce Japan as a great cycling destination for international visitors, and at the same time use the cycling as a platform for raising money to help people become self-sufficient and help people with clean water projects in the Horn of Africa and in Cambodia and in the Philippines. And at the same time now, with the recent earthquake in Tohoku, we've made it also our mandate to help the people of Tohoku. And we've raised a lot of money for the Tohoku work. We've done a lot of work so far there. I'll talk about that
we go right into
Sure.
that after that.
Sure.
So then I just want to quickly introduce the guy in the red. He's the Mark, one of the other co-founder.
Mark McBennett, he's the Irishman in the group. You have a Canadian, which is Lowell, myself, a New Yorker, and Mark is the Irishman. And the three of us, Mark is from Ireland. He works in Nagoya too. He has a business, an online business in Nagoya. And he's also an avid cyclist, and he's very much involved in the planning and organizing of the cycling events.
Okay, so you are the three amigos of the
three
Japan
amigos.
Coast.
That's
Japan
right.
Coast to Coast. All right, cool. So tell me about the Mark is he's a Japan director of Hope International. So when did you start Japan Coast to Coast?
Actually, it's Lowell Shepherd who's the right.
Lowell, yeah. I'm sorry, yeah.
Yeah, we started Japan Coast to Coast in early 2010, so it's over a year ago. And
so before the earthquake, then.
Yeah, that was around February of 2010, and then we got together and we kind of laid out what the plan for Japan Coast to Coast was. Initially, the plan is to organize group tours, cycling tours across Japan, starting from one coast, ending in another coast. And there are many ways where we can do that in Japan. That was the initial idea. And the first, I can talk about the first trip we did, if you want to hear about that.
Sure.
Sure. The first trip was in June of 2010, over a year ago. That was our first organized trip, and that's a picture there of us cycling there. We cycled from Hamamatsu City, on the Pacific coast. We followed the Tenyu River up the Japan Alps, which is beautiful Japan Alps, some of the highest peaks in Japan, down the Japan Alps to the Sea of Japan. And that was a 1 week trip over 500 kilometers. We got many people to sponsor us to challenge us. If we finished the trip in 1 week, they will donate money to us, and the money would go to Hope International for clean water projects in Cambodia. So we were able to raise like over 800,000 yen. That was enough to help over 40 families in Cambodia build water wells and clean water projects. So that was a very fulfilling trip because it was our first trip. We completed cycling up some of the highest peaks in Japan, and at the same time we raised a lot of money and helped a lot of people. So it was a really good trip. Then after that, a few months later, in October of 2010, we got a larger group, and that's the picture that you see there of the group of people. That group, we took that group across from the Nagoya port, or the Nagoya Bay, across over to Fukui Prefecture. And that was a 3-day trip, and we raised a lot of money there too for clean water projects in Cambodia. Everybody there enjoyed. You can see we're all wearing the official shirts. The picture that you're showing now, that's Mark and Lowell. Oh, that picture there is the group in October. That's like to Fukui Prefecture.
Okay,
that's us there. So those are the two trips that we've done so far. And now we have the third trip, which is planned for this month on September 19th, across Tohoku. And the money that we raised there is earmarked for two projects, basically the Tohoku projects that we have going, and for the Hope International projects that they have going on in the Horn of Africa for clean water projects. So, which is a very, very important project because the Horn of Africa is undergoing a severe drought right now.
Yeah, right now, yeah.
So the clean water projects is something that's very important. So the money raised will be split 50% to Tohoku and 50% to the Horn of Africa. By the way, we're getting more visitors. Jeremy Cowix Let me say hello to Jeremy. He's watching now. Hi, Jeremy. He's bugging me on Skype. That's
Okay. Well, tell him to join the social timeline.
Yeah,
Yeah.
join the social timeline, Jeremy.
Yeah, cool. So you were involved in this kind of charity work even before the March 11th. So why did you? First of all, why did you like cycling?
I like cycling because I was a big fat slob for a couple of years. Once I moved to Japan, I got very inactive. I was working in the computer field and just didn't exercise very much, and I got very heavy. It wasn't me because I was never really heavy. So I started cycling and to get healthy, to lose weight, and I got really thin and lost a lot of weight. Got very fit and started cycling more. And a few years ago, a friend and I went to France and we cycled across France, and that was one of the best trips I ever took. I said I really enjoy cross-country cycling and touring, so I decided when I got back to Japan I wanted to do a lot more of that in Japan, and so I got into cycling first for health, but now I do it because it offers a degree of freedom and relaxation that you just don't get in a car. In a bus, cycling equals freedom and it's fun, and I think everyone should cycle.
I see. So why did you incorporate it with the charity?
Since Lowell Shepard was one of the members of the Three Amigos, and Lowell has so much experience in charitable causes and organizations, I had already been doing charitable work with orphans in Japan, and I've done some volunteer work for Hope International. So I had the charity bug already. I enjoyed doing volunteer work, and Mark McBennett also enjoys doing volunteer work. So it was just a natural thing. We said, it's one thing to just create a business to promote cycling in Japan, but I think if we can help people at the same time, use this as a platform for social causes, such as helping people with clean water projects in Africa or Cambodia, then it's just an extra benefit. You're enjoying your cycling and you're helping other people. So it was just a natural extension of our desire to promote Japan as a good cycling destination. Also, why not help people outside of Japan?
Cool. Maki Gokuboso, hello, and Russell, half the man you used to be.
Yeah, Russell knows me for a long time and he remembers I was really big.
Okay,
yeah.
Sounds good. So then let's move on to the March 11th main topic of today. So what were you doing on March 11th?
Actually, on March 11th, I was in Tokyo on business. I had several business meetings that day, and when the earthquake struck, I was crossing the Shibuya crossing, the 109, in front of the 109 building at that very moment, and everything. There's a picture there you're showing. I took that picture. You can see everyone just stopped in mid-stride and stopped in their tracks and looked up, and in the background is the 109 building. The 109 building was shaking like this. There were some workers on a moving scaffold, and it was really, a very scary thing to see the building shake the way they were. The train service stopped, and I had to stay in Tokyo overnight. I met my friend Carter Witt, who was also in town on business. He's from Nagoya too, so we met up somewhere and in a coffee shop and planned our escape from Tokyo. We found a hotel room and we spent the night in Tokyo, and then we managed to get on a bullet train back to Nagoya the following day. So it was quite an evening. I brought my computer with me and a special Wi-Fi. So there was no computer service in the hotel. I set it up in the lobby and allowed visitors from all over the world to use my computer and get on Skype and reassure their families that they were okay. We had girls from, I believe, Sweden also, and people from Germany, and they were very grateful to have a computer feed. So that was fun.
I mean, it was amazing that many people also tried to contact me through the internet that night, but that's why I immediately started this Ustream emergency broadcast, and that time about 1 million people watched my show. In the first months of the broadcast. Now it went down to a couple dozen, but it was amazing that internet survived, and then according to NHK, four out of 5 fiber optic line between Japan and the U.S. was shut down. So only one fiber optic line between Japan and the U.S. survived. But that one fiber optic line that's actually running from Mie Prefecture to U.S. But because of that, I was still able to continue doing the live cast, and people were able to contact through Skype, Twitter, Facebook, and that was amazing. So then after the March 11th, and then it's like, it was also awesome that it was so natural that everybody started helping out each other right at the moment. I don't know. It was so grateful that everybody kind of help out, kind of united and help out each other too. Even though we were so heavily mentally and physically both damaged, but it was kind of amazing experience that we had.
Yes, it was. Everybody has a story to tell about that day.
Yeah. So after the March 11th, what action did you take after you went back to Japan?
Actually, back to Nagoya. Within days, the Nagoya foreign community got together and started organizing relief efforts. It was just amazing. The pictures that you're showing there was at the Shooter's Bar and Grill, sports bar in Nagoya City, where we had a big meeting with a lot of the foreigners. The American representative from the American consulate, Canadian consulates were there also, and we just got together and organized a drop-off station at the Hilton Hotel. People were bringing in medicine, food supplies, water. Hope International got to work in renting a warehouse in Tohoku where we could send all the supplies up and helping in the distribution. So that was the first step, which was the relief efforts, and the foreigners really, and the foreigners in Nagoya, along with their Japanese friends, really came through and helped out a lot. And then as far as Japan Coast to Coast, we are a cycling organization. We promote cycling. So we thought, well, what can we do? And it turned out that there was, many cars were destroyed by the tsunami. And roads were really difficult to travel. And so one of the first things that people needed in order to get around in the stricken areas were bicycles. Bicycles were the best mode of transportation for many people. So there was a big need for bicycles. So the first thing we did is put word out to our network that we need donated bikes, and we just started getting lots of bikes. Some people donated their own. Some businessmen went out and bought dozens of bikes for us. We had some money in our accounts, in the Japan Coast to Coast accounts, and we also got some more contributions, and we were able to rent trucks and load the trucks with bikes, as you can see in the photo there, and ship the bikes up to the Tohoku Hope warehouse. Hope International was kind enough to give us storage space in their warehouse and also assist in the distribution of the bikes.
So tell me that you were before. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to ask you. So you, because Lowell is working for Hope International, so that's why you were able to coordinate this kind of effort.
Right. It was distribution. It was a lot easier because Lowell was a director, and also Hope International had received large contributions. Hope International does not do work in Japan. Their focus is Cambodia, Philippines, China, Africa. a lot of third world countries. They don't do development works in Japan. They work from Japan, but they don't do work in Japan. For the Japanese, there's no need. Japan is a very wealthy country, but suddenly there was a need, and people wanted Hope to do something. So Hope said, "Okay, well, we'll since Hope has the experience in these types of matters, it was able to leverage that experience to obtain warehouse space and make the connections with local organizations in Tohoku for gathering intelligence and what was needed, what kind of supplies were needed, and and they had the network for distributing all these supplies. So it was an easy match. It was like perfect. Okay, Hope is there. Hope has the warehouse. We can just work with Hope. Hope will store the bikes for us. Hope will deliver the bikes to the shelters that need the bikes. So Hope knows who needs what, and Japan Coast to Coast could just focus on the easier part, which is just getting bikes, bikes up there. So we just get the bikes up there, and then
I just wanna make sure that why I wanted to emphasize this because many people immediately wanted to start helping right away, without knowing where to, but because you guys already worked in before and already developed the relationship with Hope International. I mean, Lo is the Japan director, but because you already have prepped, you already work on the charity, and then that's why you were able to work immediately in this. Because the reason why I wanted to say is also because last weekend disaster, because you cannot do stuff that you don't know how. You need to, in case of the emergency.
Right.
Like, don't do anything that you don't know how to in case of the disaster. So you guys kind of slowly developed the relationship with the Hope International and then work in the charity. You needed to improvise because Hope International never worked the effort in Japan, but Hope International had the knowledge of how to work in the developing countries. So that's kind of why I wanted to emphasize that you already had that skill, and then that's why you are kind of be able to put together this much. And I really appreciate that. I really want to show my gratitude to all your good work and everything too. So so Maki Gokuboso, I'm broadcasting from Yokkaichi, Japan. John Reynolds, do you need people to join you on the next trip? Yes, we will give you the detail as we go. So you guys, but because you guys knew how to take care of the bicycle, so because you love bicycle, you're working with the bicycle. So did you do the repair and stuff too for when you do the first batch to the Tohoku?
Yeah, the first batch was mostly donated bikes, and there were, of course, some new bikes, the grocery bikes, mamacharis. But the donated bikes, some of them were in pretty old condition. So we, the picture you have up there is Circle's Bike Shop here in Nagoya City. Those are the best guys around. They've been very helpful with us. Tanaka-san, Sal, and all the guys at Circle's agreed to store the bike in their shop and look over the bikes, clean them, fix any problems with the bikes for free, and help us load them into the trucks. So after a while, we asked people to stop donating used bikes because it became too much work and hassle to people. Some people were giving us some really old bikes, really bad condition. So and then Cannondale International, one of the most famous bicycle companies in the world, actually. They build mountain bikes and racing bikes. The president of Cannondale, Japan, in Osaka, Mario Stein, contacted Mark McBennett. He saw what we were doing. He read about it online, and he said, "Hey guys, my company is willing to give you guys 300 brand new mountain bikes." And the picture you have up on the screen there is a sample of some of the bikes he gave us. So we said, sure, great. So Cannondale had the bikes shipped in from America. Cannondale staff kindly built up the bikes. They needed to be constructed and built. And then we sent the truck down to Osaka to pick up the bikes and deliver the first batch of about 75 bikes to to the Hope warehouse in Tohoku. That's a picture of us installing bells on the bikes in Tohoku. That was the first batch. Altogether, Cannondale is donating about 300 mountain bikes, various sizes, petite, lady sizes, and large sizes. And this is a great bike for the people of Tohoku because the roads, many of the roads are not in very good condition. The kids need bikes like this, especially to get to school. So, we're still, this is an ongoing project. I think we should be done with the Cannondale bike distribution in another month. We're expecting another shipment in a few weeks. So so we're not, because of the new bikes, we're not accepting any more donated bikes. So we put a hold on that for now and just focus on the Cannondale donations.
I see. Then, but you delivered the bike by yourself to the north. When did you go drive up to the north, Japan?
I've been up there 3 times. The first time was around April, the beginning of April. I was up there for this first shipment of bikes, and also to meet some of the organizations that are working up there, like an organization in Minami Sanriku is called OGA. They're doing a lot of relief and rebuilding efforts up in Minami Sanriku, and we delivered bicycles to their group there, and they distribute the bikes to people who needed it. The second trip was around Golden Week in May. Brought more bikes, but also needed to meet with the people and some of the key people on Ojika Peninsula, where we decided we were going to hold the festival, because that's when we started planning for the festival. I needed to meet some of the local authorities and some of the local people and scout out a location for the festival. My third trip was in early August. Was another trip. The Cannondale bikes were already delivered to the warehouse. We needed to go up there to make sure the bikes had reflectors and bells, and also to deliver the bikes we delivered some bikes to some of the volunteer centers on Ojika Hanto. At the same time, I needed to also do some more follow-up scouting on Ojika, planning negotiations with some of the local people for hiring cooks for the festival and festival guides, things like that. So altogether, 3 times I've been up north, and it really allowed me to see what's going on and see I was there a few weeks after the tsunami earthquake, and I was there a few months later, so I get to see how things are moving along.
I see. Now this is I'm showing the video. I just showed the Cannondale bicycle video. Now showing the street of the. So what's this movie, and where is it?
Now, this was the last time I was up there in early August. The road that you're seeing is some of the mountain roads on Ojika Peninsula, and these are the roads that the festival participants will be cycling through these roads. You can see the white lines on the roads are basically earthquake damage. So there are a lot of cracks in the roads, but it's still very much usable. So we will, of course, encourage the cyclists to be very careful about the cracks and try not to hurt themselves. But we wanted to kind of show how beautiful the place is. This is a road that leads down to a tiny little village of about 7 or 8 houses, and that house that you see there is the only house that survived because it's just before the beach. So that is the house that's most inside inland. And you can't see it from this video, but further down is the port where some of the fishing boats, and then all the other houses were destroyed. So it was really disheartening to see just one house survived from that destruction. But this is what the people who come to the festival must expect. We warned them that the festival is a time to enjoy yourselves, to meet the locals, but You're going to see, of course, Ojika is beautiful. You see pictures there of where we're going to hold the festival, but you'll see this too. You'll see a lot of destruction, a lot of very sad scenes, because Ojika was right dead center of the earthquake and tsunami. It got the full brunt of the tsunami, so they will see, very, very bad things, but at the same time, they're going to see how the people are rebuilding their lives and trying to get back to normality there. So the people really want us to come there. They want us to bring visitors. They want us to bring tourists. They want us they want to show and welcome their community to outsiders, especially foreigners.
I see. So let me ask you first. Why did you like cycling that much? What is the point of doing the cycling and doing this kind of work at the same time?
Well, cycling, of course, is like I mentioned earlier, represents freedom. It's a great way to get out and enjoy yourself and get some exercise. But I compare. There are three ways you can get from point A to point B. You can walk, you can cycle, or you can drive. And walking is very boring. Walking is slow. The scenery doesn't change very much, and I just don't enjoy walking very much. In a car, you're disconnected from the environment. You're going too fast to really enjoy the scenery. But in a bicycle, you're going at just the right amount of speed. You're seeing a lot more of the environment of your surroundings, but not slow enough to get bored. And you're still connected to your environment because you're outdoors. You're directly connected with the air, with the ground, and all. So I think it's probably the best way to travel from point A to B. I can't think of a better way.
I see. So what do I need? Well, for example, if I want to join, what do I need? And what if people want to join you guys? What do they need?
Well, the two events where we have the Tohoku Coast to Coast Challenge, and we have the festival following that. So for the Tohoku Coast to Coast Challenge, the people who join that challenge will need to get up to Niigata City with their bike, and they should bring what they would normally bring on a cycling tour, which is their towels, soap, toothbrush, toothpaste, a change of clothing. They should have regular non-cycling clothing, so when they're done with the tour, they have something to wear. And then, one or two changes of cycling clothing, which is cycling pants, the special underpants that cyclists use so that they don't get chaffed down there. Cycling jersey. We'll actually be giving jerseys to all the cyclists who join. They may want to bring an extra pair, a jacket, rain gear in case it rains, something to wear so that they don't get too wet. They don't need a helmet because we'll supply them with a helmet, courtesy of OGK, a sponsor. So they really don't need to bring much because it's a supported tour. They'll be staying in hotels and in bed and breakfasts. And
how about bicycle itself?
The bicycle, they need a bike, of course. So
what kind of bicycle do we need?
I think for this type of tour, which is about 300 kilometers across some mountains, and it's a bit tough. Not as tough as cycling across the Japan Alps, but still challenging.
Uh-huh.
They need a good touring bike with gears. They shouldn't try to do this on a fixed gear or single speed or mamachari grocery bike. It should be a bike that's used for touring.
So how much?
I don't recommend a mountain bike for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how about roughly how much money of the bicycle? I mean, I know it's hard to ask the question, but
actually that's a good question.
Yeah.
I guess a good touring bike in Japan could you can get a decent one for about 80,000 yen, I think.
So it's which is about the $1,000
about
US dollar.
$1,000 US dollars for a good one. I mean, you can get used ones too. I would say a fairly decent one. I have a Surly steamroller, and that's a fancy bike. That cost me a pretty penny.
How about the poor guy? How much? But at least, for the poor guy, how much do you think we need to spend at least?
At least on a bicycle, I think at the very least you should spend 60,000 yen on a good bike. Yeah,
60,000 yen, which is about $700, $800 bikes to join for the couple days tour of Japan coast to coast. Right. And how much training do we need?
If you're planning on doing a tour like this, I would recommend about 6 weeks training. Get out every day and cycle about 20 kilometers. That should be enough. That should get you in fit shape. Exercise, and just try to be a little flexible. Do stretching exercises before you cycle.
Okay.
So about 6 weeks is enough.
Yeah. But you still need to practice before you just cannot join you guys on the tour.
I wouldn't recommend that you just suddenly join us.
But why do we need to prepare, spend that money, and then but even I should join you guys and enjoy this bicycle? What's your selling point?
Actually, the thing about cyclists, the people that join us usually are very fanatical about cycling. There's very little selling needed.
Okay.
They just need an excuse to get on their bikes. So we don't tend to market our services to people who are not into cycling. We tend to reach people who are already cyclists, who just want an excuse to get on the bike and go across from one part of Japan to another. So sometimes there are people that throughout the year they'll go online and look at various group rides and say, okay, I want to join this one, I want to join this one. The difference is if they join ours, they'll be doing some good because they'll be enjoying beautiful scenery, a great ride with fun people, but at the same time raising money to help social causes. So that's the added benefit.
Yeah, I have a friend in LA who's really into bicycle too. So I know how what you feel. And then I bike sometime when I was in LA too and stuff with borrowing my friend's bicycle and everything. It was really fun. Cruising around taco truck and everything, so it was fun. Jeanette, off to work at the social service. Hope I can come back and see the end of this. Bye. Thank you for watching. You can check out the clock, and you can fast forward. Remember the clock, and you can fast forward in the recorded archive. John Reynolds, support car. Yes, you guys gonna have a support car for the first tour trip, right? Do you usually have a support car for the tour that you guys do?
Not always. The first one we did, the second one we did, and this one we will have a support car. So the riders do not need to bring panniers to bring their stuff. The support car will take their luggage and their bags, and all they need to bring is a water bottle, maybe a little backpack if they want to bring something with them. But the support car will be there
for this trip on September. But sometime in the future, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Depends on the length of the tour that you guys gonna do. And how much kilometer or miles per day you guys usually tour?
We do about 80. Sometimes we might do a 100 kilometer day, but I would say average about 80.
Okay. Within how long from the dawn to dusk?
Yeah, usually we start around 8 o'clock in the morning. We leave 8 to 9, and we will get to our destination before 4 o'clock, around 4 o'clock.
What if somebody wants to retire? Then support car gonna help you, right?
Yeah, the support car is there for people who they're very tired. They get in the support car and they say, I just can't do it anymore.
How about you? Have you ever given up and got into
No.
Okay. Not yet.
Never give up. I don't believe I've ever given up. Cycling is all in the head. Basically, you just go slow, take your time, and you'll get there eventually. It's the people who try to rush who just get tired, and their techniques, especially when you're going up those mountains, really tall mountains, and you're looking up and saying, I'll never make it up there. But it'll take you a while. It may take you a few hours, but you'll get there. Trust me, you will. Even if you have to get off the bike and walk, you'll get there.
I see. So let me go back to the relief effort conversation then. But so how is working with this charity for the Tohoku specific and working with Hope? How is it? This this report, and then you've been there already 3 times.
Right.
And you kind of see the changes from we went up there in April, May, and the beginning of the August. So you kind of see how people change. And what was your impression when you first went up there, and over the course of the time, what kind of changes do you see, and then what was your impression about North Japan right now?
Yeah, when I was first up there was just a few weeks after the earthquake and tsunami, and the first place I visited was Minami Sanriku, which was a beautiful coastal town, really beautiful, and it was terrible to see what happened. Total destruction. It's as if someone dropped an atomic bomb and just wiped out a whole small city, and to see like surreal images of boats on top of buildings. I saw Mercedes-Benz almost a kilometer inland up the mountain by a ravine. It was weird. The pictures you see there, that's in Ojika. That's a fire truck that's about half a kilometer inland. So it was just amazing to see the destruction. And it was just a few weeks after the tsunami, so there was still a lot of recovery efforts going on at the time. So the second time I went, things looked a bit better. There was a lot of activity and a lot of cleanup, and the important thing first was to get the roads clean, right? Because the thing about a regular earthquake, I lived through the big earthquake in 1995, the Kobe earthquake, and that was a big earthquake that killed over 5,000, 6,000 people, including my sister-in-law who was killed in that earthquake. So I had to go down to Nishinomiya, and I saw the destruction. But one thing about the earthquake in Nishinomiya and Kobe was that buildings collapse, and the roads, for the most part, they tend to be passable still. So it was still easy for rescuers to get from point A to point B. They just had to, try to in order to rescue people. With the tsunami, it's a whole different story. The tsunami comes in and just destroys everything, turns everything to mush and bricks and stones and sticks. And then when the tsunami recedes back into the ocean, it just leaves everything right in there in its place. So there are no more roads. So if you need to get to the house that's about 500 meters across the field there, you can't, because there's just so much debris between here and there. So it made it really difficult to rescue people and to get things done. So the first thing was to clear the roads. And by the second time I was in Tohoku, the roads were being cleared. The third time I was there, a lot of the cleaning efforts were showing results. There were still a lot of course, homes that were destroyed, but a lot of the temporary housings were up. So the last time I was there, lots of temporary housing for many of the people. As a matter of fact, the festival that we're holding this month is going to be right next door to a whole temporary housing area. So a lot of the people that are moving into the temporary housing will join us for the festival, and we'll be able to meet with them and talk with them, and so that's one of the things that I noticed, that the stage 1, of course, was rescue. That was done right after the earthquake. Stage 2 was relief, sending supplies up there, and stage 3 was basically the rebuilding efforts, which is going on now. Lots of roads are being cleaned up and rebuilt. Homes are being fixed or rebuilt. Temporary housing is going up. People are trying to get back to living, especially the fishing industry that was affected in Tohoku and Ojika. Many oyster fishermen lost their livelihood, but we're going to see that many of them are now getting back to work, and this is a good thing. So normality is slowly coming back, and that's the important thing.
Yeah, well, that's actually the next question that I was going to ask you. It's already been half year, and Yokoso News is still doing the emergency broadcast. I wasn't really supposed to do it this long, but I felt that I need to do this long time to keep reporting what's really happening in North Japan and Fukushima Nuclear Power Plant, because I feel that way. But hey, Sakura Uts, thank you for watching on the social timeline. So why do you think that you already mentioned it a little bit, but can you repeat one more time that why do you think you need to keep working to do this relief effort as Japan coast to coast?
Well, as I mentioned, there are three stages, the three R's. There's rescue, relief, and recovery. And those are the three stages of any disaster. The rescue is done. Those who were rescued. Those who weren't. The relief, which was bringing food and supplies up to Tohoku, most of that is done. I wouldn't say 100%, but most of it is taken care of now by private organizations and by the government. So now the third part, which is recovery, which is rebuilding, is happening. And the best way you can help the people of Tohoku is to help them become self-sufficient again. The Japanese are very proud people. They're not used to accepting handouts, but all they want is an opportunity to get back to normal life. And Japan coast to coast, with the way we think, is what can we do to help them? Well, by doing this festival, we're highlighting Ojika and Tohoku as a great place, as a great destination for cycling tourism. So we want to bring tourists back to the area. There were many tourists in Tohoku before the earthquake, and people used to enjoy spending their holidays there. Many people are not coming back. Look at the example of Matsushima City. Matsushima City is the city where we're ending the coast-to-coast ride. That city was untouched by the tsunami because of the nature of the way that, even though it's a coastal city, there are some islands in front of the city that kind of blocked the tsunami. It was untouched, and it's one of the most beautiful sea towns around in Japan. Yet tourism is down. No one is coming to Matsushima City because the image of Tohoku is destroyed. There's nothing there. So we want to counter that image by holding the festival and saying, there's been a lot of destruction here, but the people are eager to welcome you back, and it's still a beautiful, beautiful area for cycling. And cycling tourism is a very low impact form of business, because cycling tourists, they come, they'll stay at a bed and breakfast, they bring a bicycle, they don't require very much. It's a very low impact industry. So the people, even though they want to welcome the business back, they don't have very much to offer. So cycling tourism is probably the best form of tourism to invite to the area. So that is why we're focusing our efforts in cycling tourism for Tohoku, to get the people to go back and spend money in the area. That'll help the people get back to normality.
Yes, that's awesome. Yes, so now people needs, physically or in terms of the supply, food, infrastructure, they're slowly getting restored. But now what's really important is that we make sure that we want to make sure that we tell them that we are still care about them, and mental support that we need to give. So I think the bicycle tourism is the low cost, and you don't need much to prepare, but you can still enjoy, and at the same time, you can enjoy the nature too. So that that's also has the Tohoku area has advantage of enjoying the nature and everything too.
Right,
so
right.
I think that's really awesome. Then I'm so love the concept of the Tohoku cycling. I'm trying to make it. I don't think I'm gonna make it this one, but next time I really wanna join for the you guys tour one day. But
Sure.
We'll
try to do something in Mie Prefecture.
Okay, cool. So tell me about your event then.
Yeah, so the first event we have this month from September 19th to the 22nd is the Tohoku Coast to Coast Challenge and Cycling Challenge, and we're having a group ride. We're meeting all up in Niigata City, which is on the coast of the Sea of Japan. It's up in the northern part of Japan, Niigata. And we'll meet there, and then we'll start cycling across Tohoku over to the Pacific coast of Matsushima City. and that'll be like a 3-day cycling tour. We'll be staying in Japanese hotels and Japanese inns. It's a fully supported. So you just need to bring your bike, and we supply a list of things that you should bring with you. The price of that is 69,000 yen, and includes the price for everything. You'll get all you need, and plus the hotel. You just need to get yourself up to Niigata, and then we end the tour in Matsushima City, which is the point B on that map there, and you'll have to find your way back home from there. Of course, we'll show you how to get home. There are trains from there to various parts of Japan.
But I think if you don't come there you're not gonna come by car. You need to ship your bicycle, right?
In Japan, you can bring your bike on a train as long as you place the bike in a bicycle bag, which you can buy at a bike shop.
Oh, okay.
So as long as the bicycle is in a bag, you can bring it on the Shinkansen or on a local train. It doesn't matter. So we encourage everyone who joins to just purchase a bicycle bag and place the bike in the bag and take the train.
Oh,
and,
I didn't know actually.
Yeah, it's legal in Japan. You cannot bring a bicycle without a bag into a train, but you can bring it in a bag. As a matter of fact, we've actually had people in past trips didn't have bags, so we would go to the convenience store and buy plastic garbage bags, and we create, using masking tape, we create bags. As long as you cover the bike in Japan, as long as you can't see it, as long as it's covered, you can bring it into a train.
Oh, okay, I see.
You can't bring it uncovered. That's just a weird rule. In France, we didn't have this rule. In France, every train has a special train car, bike car, and you can just hang your bike for a few dollars, a few extra euros. You can hang your bike and bring your bike with you. Unfortunately, Japan doesn't have that yet. I'm hoping one day that they'll do that on the bullet trains. That'll be very convenient.
Well, we have to spread the word of Japan coast to coast and then convince JR then. So what? Yeah.
The other event is the
actually no. So 69,000 yen.
Yes.
And that's the price. Then you need to go up to Niigata first.
That's right.
So that's not included 69,000 yen. And then you need to also bring your bicycle, and you also need to get ready for the clothing but just pretty much the clothing and bicycle, right?
Right. And your own lunch. You'll buy your own lunch. Because, right. But the breakfast and dinners will be taken care of.
Okay, got it. So then you need to practice before about 6-8 weeks of 20 kilos.
6 weeks of cycling every day for about 20 kilometers. That should get you in shape, I think.
Okay, so now, well, it's already before 6 weeks to the date. So, but you can, if you're in Japan, you still have 2 weeks to practice to join, I guess. And how can we register for this Tohoku? Are you still accepting people to join?
Yes, we're accepting. We still have another week and a half of accepting people. So if you go to japanc2c.com,
which is on the screen,
it's on the screen, you'll see a banner there that says the Tohoku Cycling Challenge. Click on the banner, and you'll see that page, which is on your screen there, which describes the cycling challenge. And then there'll be a link there for the online registration. Just register and answer a few questions on the registration form. And that's it. And we'll get in touch with you and tell you what you need to do and where to meet us on September 19th.
Okay. Then get ready for the cash and everything, okay?
Right.
And then next, so let's talk about first annual Tohoku Cycling Festival. So what is it, Tohoku Cycling Festival?
Right, so the festival is this idea to highlight Ojika, which is that's the community that will be holding the festival, as a great place to come and enjoy cycling vacation. So the festival will be from September 23rd to the 25th. That's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. As a matter of fact, some of the people that are cycling across Tohoku will also join the festival. So they're going to go cycle until the 22nd, stay overnight in Matsushima City, and then cycle up to Ojika for the festival the following day. But a lot of people will not be doing that. They'll just go directly to the festival. And the festival, like I said, is on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the 23, 24, 25. You can sign up for the festival online too. If you click on the link there, and it shows a picture and a map of where the festival is located. There's a schedule of the events of the festival. We're going to have a barbecue the first night, storytelling from the local people. They're going to talk about what they were doing when the tsunami hit. We'll hear from a local fisherman who got on his boat and went out into the ocean to save his boat. We'll hear a lot of personal stories. The following day, on the 24th, on Saturday, we have a group cycling tours around Ojika. And we'll meet at a farm for some cycling games and races, and we'll be giving away prizes. And we'll have lunch up there, and then we'll cycle back to the base camp. And on Sunday, the last day, we'll have breakfast, a group ride, and then say our goodbyes. So it'll be a fun time to meet some of the locals, enjoy some fun cycling, see what's going on Ojika, and see some of the bad and the good that's going on there.
So it is like so if you're gonna join, you kind of have to join 3-day. This is the 3-day tour itself, the festival. So it's not like you can just join for that day only.
Well, I mean, we encourage people to come and join the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if possible.
Okay.
It costs 19,000 yen.
Okay.
To join the festival, and that includes all the meals. You get, the barbecues, the breakfast, the lunch, and all that. It includes entry into the games and activities and the group rides. You get T-shirts, you get all kinds of fun things, lots of giveaways. We have sponsors who have given us stuff to give away too. So there are a few people who cannot make it on Friday and the 24th, on the 23rd. So they're coming on the Saturday, so it's fine. It's a camping style. So basically, you get there, you bring your bike. If you don't have a bike, we can loan you a bike. But you should bring at least a sleeping bag. If you have a tent, that's even better. If not, we have a big tent where many people will share and sleep together, and you don't mind that. So it's a camping style. It's very basic, nothing fancy, but it's good. It's going to be fun. It's going to be it's going to be a great camaraderie with the locals and visitors. We're having a visitor all the way from Norway visiting the festival, and he will be cycling in on a recumbent bicycle, which is a very unusual bicycle, and many of the locals have probably never seen that type of bike, so it'll be fun to see the reaction. So we have people from all over Japan visiting also, and some from Canada too. So it's just going to be a very international event, and that's what the people of Ojika want. They want people from all over. They want to expose their youth, their children, to people from all over the world, and this is a great way to do that.
Cool. So this is pretty much the camping. The festival is like a camping trip.
Right.
I mean, it's not trip. You mean you're gonna stay in Ojika Peninsula?
Right.
So it's it's not like Japanese festival where the street store takoyaki. No. It's just more like a camping.
Yeah, more like camping, very low key.
Okay.
The locals. We're hiring a lot of the local people to help us, to help them, to give them work to do and stuff. So we have local housewives who will be cooking the meals. Local guides to help us in some of the activities. Excuse me. Oh,
bless you.
A little sneeze there. We have so it's low key, and it's not like the usual festival. There may be a music program there and storytellings and barbecues, but basically it's not the usual festival that you think of when you think of a festival.
Okay.
We don't want to attract too much attention because, again, we have to be respectful. The people are rebuilding their lives.
Okay. J Neutral said, your bike event is awesome, wonderful, but as you know, we have radioactive stuff. So so now we found out that some of the rice straw in Miyagi Prefecture was had a radioactive contamination a little bit. So what is your reaction to that, and what's the reaction to that then?
Well, my hair used to be all black before I went there, so it's all white now. I guess the radiation did that. No doubt there is a real threat of what's happening with the radiation problem in Tohoku. Where we're at, we're not very close to the Fukushima. We're pretty far away from. We're way north of the Fukushima area, where the most of the radiation problem is occurring. I don't think the people who are going to visit me worry, because they're not going to be there long enough for it to matter. I mean, radiation is something that occurs over time. You're exposed to it a very long time, directly exposed to it, ingested on a regular basis. It may, I'm not a doctor or scientist, it may have an effect, but from the information that we're getting, there is no immediate threat of any radiation poisoning. The food is clean and safe, as far as we can tell. I would worry more if we were holding this in Fukushima City or in and around the Fukushima area, but this is pretty far up north from the area. So to date, there hasn't been any reports of high levels of radiation in the area. The food is well sourced, so I don't think we need to worry about food contamination or radiation.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, if you really worry about radiation level, MEX, Ministry of Education, Technology and Science, post the up-to-date radiation data around the Ojika Peninsula too, so you can go check out MEX website, mex.go.jp, to check out their latest radiation data, and it doesn't show much of the high level of the radiation data there right now, so I don't think. Then also at the same time, the food contamination, if you watch Yokosu News Weekly Update, I've been giving you the latest up-to-date information of the food contamination, and from the my previous report in the past, I do not see any of the food contamination which has a high level. In North Japan, Miyagi Prefecture, it had a beef contamination a little bit, but they already have enough checking system in place, and they are checking all meat. They're checking the radioactive contamination level of all the meat coming out from Miyagi Prefecture and stuff. So because of the report that I'm getting from the North Japan, and then I think it's safe. So that's kind of, I'd like to add to that too. So okay, so everyone, this is Katz from Yokosu News with Tony Torres, who is the co-founder of Japan Coast to Coast. Japan Coast to Coast is the cycling and charity cycling. How do I say it? In one
Japan
word.
Coast to Coast, cycling for a cause, as we
Cycling
say.
for Cause, non-profit group for the charity. Cycling for Cause group. You guys based in Nagoya, Japan?
That's right. We're based in Nagoya City,
Okay.
which is between Osaka and Tokyo.
Yes, and also which is 30 minutes away from Yokkaichi, Japan, where the Yokosu News is. And today we are doing live 311 disaster update number 51, Tuesday, September 6, 2011, at 9:35 p.m. Japan Standard Time with Tony Torres. He's sharing us the great story about how he started living in Japan, how he encountered the earthquake, and then how he has been helping the Tohoku area and organizing this great trip, Tohoku Coast to Coast Challenge, happening between September 19th and 23rd. Then the first annual Tohoku Cycling Festival from September 23rd to 25th. For more information about this, you should visit japanc2c.com. That's their website, Japan Coast to Coast, and then Japan Coast to Coast also has the Facebook account. So you should, if you are interested, if you are a cycling lover and then want to cycle in Japan, maybe you should get informed through their website. You have a newsletter too, right?
We don't have a regular newsletter. We have a blog site.
Okay.
So Japan C2C, there's a link there that you can see regular news updates and blog and read what was going on.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much for this 20 minutes delay of the retake. I apologize that, Tony. Is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Well, we encourage people. We understand that the Tohoku Coast to Coast might be a bit of a challenge for some people, but the festival is a great way to just enjoy yourself, to bring your bike up there, to meet the local people, to see what's going on Ojika, to spend a nice weekend. It's Silver Week in Japan, so it's a holiday weekend. We encourage everyone to sign up and just spend a few days up in Ojika with us and enjoy some cycling and some games, some barbecue, and a good time. So just go to our website, japanc2c.com, and register if you're interested in joining.
Cool. You guys don't have any question on the social timeline? Otherwise, I will say goodbye to Tony. Well, everyone, this is Katz from Yokosu News, yokosunews.com. Yokosu News is usually a cultural entertainment website about to introduce Japanese culture. However, since March 11th earthquake, if we welcome people to come to Japan, we also have to make sure that I tell you everything that's happening so that you are well informed, that you can make good decision based on it too. Then we have a Tony Torres, the co-founder of Japan Coast to Coast, joining us. Please go to their website, japanc2c.com, which is on the screen right now, or like Yokosu News, like them on the Facebook at Japan Coast to Coast on the screen. Barbecue? Did you say barbecue? Did I say barbecue? I didn't say barbecue.
I said barbecue.
Oh, barbecue. Oh.
I said that there will be a barbecue at the festival. So.
Okay, barbecue. Okay. Cool. And then hope you guys have fun and take care. Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Thank you for interviewing me, and we hope to have good news after the festival.
Yes, and then we really love to have you come back and continue to talk.
Sure.
This, in addition to this charity effort, but also ongoing project that since we Yokosu News and in Japan Coast to Coast is so close, Nagoya and Yokkaichi, Japan. So, all right. Thank you very much, Tony.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right. So it has been Tony from Japan Coast to Coast. All right. I'm gonna cut you off. Thank you. I will reconnect you after I finish the broadcast in a couple hours. Or you just can take off, but I'll send you email and stuff. All right, thank you, Tony.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. All right, thank you, everyone. This is Katz from Yokosu News again for doing the 311 disaster update number 51. It has been Tony from Japan Coast to Coast. Japan Coast to Coast is the cycling group for a cause. Working with Hope International, they have been working since the early 2010 and find a good cause to cycle and then use it to do any charity event. So obviously, since the March 11th, they've been doing the helping the people of Tohoku, North Japan too. So you should pay attention if you love, especially if you love cycling. All right. So now we are going to move at.tours, the weekly update of Japan between August 30th and September 6th. Okay, let me switch. Bringing up the update. So, this emergency disaster update, weekly update, it's supposed to be doing North Japan update and Fukushima Nuclear Power Plant update. However, because of the last weekend, Typhoon Talas, formerly Typhoon Talas, now tropical depression, ran across Shikoku and Wakayama. Then it brought large amount of the rain over the weekend between the September 2nd and September 5th. And even today, the tropical depression, formerly Typhoon Talas, and Typhoon Noru are near the Hokkaido and bring in the large amount of the rain. So I will give you the update of that first. So now, still in Wakayama, Nara, Mie Prefecture, which is in the center of Japan. If you look at the map of Japan, if you look at the map of Japan, that's okay. If you look at the map of Japan, Wakayama Prefecture is located at the end of the peninsula over here. And this area, Wakayama, Mie, and Nara Prefecture, is known for the high rainfall area. So, but over the last weekend, typhoon passed this Shikoku area and go north, and the cloud brought a lots of amount of the humid air to this peninsula in the Wakayama, Nara, Mie Prefecture, and it brought the super large amount of the rain. According to NHK, the one of the rain gauge operated by the Ministry of Land in Kamikitayama Village, Nara Prefecture, they have recorded about 24,000 millimeters of the rainfall, which is about in 5 days between August 30th and September 5th. So, which is about 3/4 of the annual rainfall amount of the 1 year. So, 3/4 of a year worth of the rainfall dropped onto the region in 5 days. So that's the amount of the rainfall. So because of that, in the 3 prefecture, about because so many landslides happen, and then it's called deep sheeted landslide, not the surface landslide. It's the one of the term that because of the high amount of the rain, deep sheeted landslide happen, and they cause the catastrophic damage to the region. Because of the landslide, many people were displaced. As of tonight, still about over 4,000 people at 6:44 p.m. of today, which is about 3 hours ago, still 4,500 people are still displaced and waiting to be rescued. And then according to NHK on as of 9:30 p.m. on September 6th, the death toll raised to 47 and 56 people are missing. Now over 103 people, the casualty, the number has increased to 103. So this is the I kind of have a feeling that the casualty is going to increase much more. So this is going to be the worst typhoon disaster catastrophe in the last 30 years. This is the worst typhoon damage that I've seen in my life. So, but it's kind of being faded because of the Tohoku North Japan earthquake. And according to Sankei newspaper, some of the location, for example, Totsugawa village in Nara, because of the street where they were displaced by the landslide, and all the street were cut and shut down. According to Sankei, they still need a week, at least a week, to finish rescuing all the people. So so this is kind of the urgent situation right now happening in Wakayama, Nara prefecture, and some part of the Mie prefecture too, south of the Mie prefecture, because the water line was cut and they don't have any water, they don't have any electricity, and they have no way out because all the street was cut. So now the self-defense force has been deployed to help out to help the rescue these people. But according to NHK, at least 4,500 people are still displaced. So because of the degree of the damage that they get, according to NHK at noon today, September 6th, at the Shingu City Wakayama, the volunteer center had opened. So if you live near Osaka, if you live near Wakayama, feel like sparing a day or two to the volunteer work. Unfortunately, I think you need to go with someone who can speak Japanese at least, or you kind of need to be able to speak Japanese, because many people who were damaged, the victim of this typhoon, are more like elderly. So, but if you feel like if you want to volunteer, not only North Japan, if you thought that North Japan is too far away, Shingu Wakayama is looking for help. Shingu Wakayama around the area is located 3-4 hours away from Osaka, and I think you kind of have to go there by car. If you're interested in volunteering, they have a cell phone number 090-1447-4542. It's the phone number. I posted that phone number on my Yokoso News Twitter or Yokoso News on Facebook, so you can go check there as well. So because of that, even typhoon has passed, there is a clear sky in Japan, most of the Japan except the Hokkaido. Still, evacuation advisory and evacuation orders are still in place to over 20,000 households, mainly in Wakayama, Nara, and Mie Prefecture, but mainly in Wakayama Prefecture as at 1 p.m. on September 6th. This is because of the threat of the landslide. And because it's kind of hard to explain, but that area is full of the mountain. This area is kind of full of the mountain, and then the river is kind of deep, and then landslides stopped some of the stream of the river, and it formed a natural dam, and then they have a threat of more flooding could happen. All the water that accumulated in the mountain also start coming down to the ocean as well. So that is why if you are, so in a way right now, if you're gonna drive in the mountain in this area, I don't recommend to go drive around this mountain for this week. But in October you'll be fine. In October. But September, pretty much, you shouldn't drive the mountain area, especially in the south area of the map. But after the October, it should be fine. But you should pay attention to the authorities' word. But anyway, because of that, still over the 20,000 people still have the evacuation. Okay, I have an update. Sorry, the new update as of 7:20 p.m. on September 6th, according to NHK, the evacuation advisory and order they are issued. Now only 17,000 households, but still 17,000 households. The evacuation advisory or order are effective to the 17,000 households, mainly in Wakayama, Nara, and Mie Prefecture because of the threat of the landslide. And according to NHK, the update of 9 p.m., the latest update of from the NHK at 9 p.m. on September 6th, the number has declined. About 24,000 people are still displaced in the mountain area without water, without the street, without the way out. So people are trying to rescue workers are trying to rescue these people right now. So according to NHK today, September 6th, Ministry of Land Research team came to visit the disaster area of Wakayama, and they saw that the landslide is not the usual landslide, only the surface slides. But this is called deep-seated landslides because of so much of the rain got inside of the layer of the mountain. Not only the surface of the mountain, but also this great deal of the multi-layer of the mountain slid, and it caused the much larger damage. It brought the much larger damage to the stuff. Genutrial, yeah, that was terrible typhoon like Irene, yes. And then so deep-seated landslide. I will kind of refrain from the detailed explanation, but the worst landslide happened in these areas, so that's the reason why they have more casualty and more people has been displaced. According to NHK at 7:24 a.m. on September 6th, so 70% of the people who either die or went missing, they got into this situation when they were inside of the building. So many people, so looks like they are still doing the investigation, but many people who became the victim of this landslide and flooding because they did not evacuate. So if you feel it's unsafe, you should evacuate immediately. But I just watched a special report from NHK. Actually, the amount of the rain itself wasn't strong. This was about the regular amount of the rainstorm. However, the problem was this rainstorm continued for 3 days. Usually the rainstorm in that region happens like a couple hours or at most a day. But because of the Typhoon Talas speed, Typhoon Talas moved very slow. It brought a large amount of the humid air to that region, Wakayama, Mie, and Nara prefecture, and keep feeding the large amount of the vapor that made the rainstorm longer for 3 days long, and result in some area experience like 2,400 millimeters of the rainfall. So people, the amount of the rain per hour was kind of usual rainstorm, but because it was really long, it happened in a long period of time, and that's how it caused the catastrophic damage. So, and then also some of the really heartbreaking news that in Nasu-Katsuura town of Wakayama, the daughter of the mayor and mayor's wife, daughter of the mayor of Nasu-Katsuura were killed, and the mayor of the the wife of the mayor went missing, and then and worst of all, on the September 4th, and then worst of all, the day his daughter died was the day of her engagement ceremony with her fiance. But because the mayor Teramoto, he's the mayor of the town, so he had to go back to work to the work for the counter disaster work of the for the town. So it's kind of sad, heartbreaking news too. From the Nachikatsura town in Wakayama village. So next. According to NHK, at 8 p.m. on September 5th, yesterday, from this typhoon disaster, some of the casualty, the place where the casualty landslide happened, even they didn't have the evacuation advisory or evacuation order. Because of the amount, because it was hard for the government to determine about the amount of the rainfall, which I kind of briefly explained to you earlier, that the amount of the rain per hour was kind of the regular amount of the rainstorm. But because Typhoon Talas moved very slow, it kept feeding a viper, and it kept bringing the consistent amount of the large amount of the rainfall to that specific region for 5 days. That's the reason why local government was making the hard time to make a decision whether to issue the evacuation advisory or evacuation order to any specific area. And some of the area, people die even they did not issue any evacuation order or advisory. So people didn't feel that they needed to evacuate, and many people die or went missing when they were inside of their building or houses. So yeah. But on the other hand, for example, Owase City, Mie, their local government took the action. They from 2 days prior to the typhoon, they start sending out the email to the residents, and they start using the city radio to give warning to the people. So because Owase City Mie took the early action to spread the word to the residents and make sure they pass the information to the local residents enough early, and they could avoid the casualty. So some part of the area, they did take the right measurement, and then they were able to avoid the casualty. And last news from Typhoon Talas. Last two news of Typhoon Talas. So according to the previous Owase City news was from Sankei newspaper. And then this is also from the Sankei newspaper as of September 5th, 12:46 p.m. Sankei newspaper reports about the interview of the self-defense personnel, and they talk like this was like tsunami disaster that they went to help. So So now it's almost been like 72 hours past for the when the most of the landslide happened. So it's the critical time for the self-defense and rescue workers to be able to rescue the people. And according to the interview at the Sankei newspaper, the self-defense personnel said that it was like again, the comeback of the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami incident. So the flooding and the landslide flooding were like tsunami. So even though this time the amount of the area was much smaller and casualties, I don't know, I'm going to say only, no, but it's 100 casualty yet compared to 20,000 casualty in Tohoku region. But for the damage of the particular region itself is as worse as Tohoku earthquake and tsunami. So that's why they have the volunteer center up in Shingu Wakayama, and the other part of the area may need a volunteer too. So yeah, that's what it is. And so where is Typhoon Talas right now? Is Typhoon Talas became the tropical depression according to various news agencies, and then it became, it bringing the large amount of the rainfall to the Hokkaido area. What's happening right now is Typhoon Talas is located around former Typhoon Talas tropical depression is located around the left side of the Hokkaido, and Typhoon Noru is located on the right side of the Hokkaido. And these two typhoon and tropical depression are bringing the humid air to the Hokkaido, and humid air from the both sides are crashing in Hokkaido, and this is the reason why it's bringing the large amount of the rain to the Hokkaido right now. And according to NHK, the amount of the rainfall, it could be as worse as 1981 rainfall, and that caused another catastrophic damage. And the weather pattern is very similar to from 30 years ago. So but fortunately, the peak of the rainfall has passed. So the rain has been calmed down, and then it should be okay. According to it became better. However, you should still pay attention to the authorities. If you live in Hokkaido, tonight is the night, that last night, hopefully, that you need to pay attention. Sakura, do you think Noru is going to make a landfall? According to various agencies, no, they're not going to make a landfall. No. Yep. So that's pretty much it. Is the update of the Typhoon Talas. Now, at 10 p.m. Now we are going to a update of the Tohoku North Japan tsunami, and then earthquake update. So we had the on every September 1st. September 1st is the anniversary of Kanto earthquake 100 years ago. 100 years ago, big earthquake hit Tokyo. So then over 10,000 of people died. So in Japan, it is kind of custom that every September 1st, we have nationwide training session. And as a part of like anniversary or coming to something, NHK started a internet radio simulcast, but only available in Japan. So most of the time, NHK internet radio, they only broadcast in Japanese. However, in case of the disaster, they will also going to provide English and other foreign language news. So you should go check the internet radio if you don't have a TV set at home. So if you want access to their internet radio, go to, I think, nhk.or, www.nhk.or.jp okay, the address is this: www.3.nhk.or.jp/netradio. If you are in Japan, you will be able to listen to Radio 1, Radio 2, and FM NHK radio. They block by IP address. If you live outside of Japan, you wouldn't be able to listen. And especially the radio number 2. Radio number 2 became international radio in case of the disaster. So if you happen to be in Japan and then you might encounter a disaster, maybe you want to tune in to www.nhk.or.jp/netradio/ and click R2 icon, and they might give you the English latest update of the disaster. But of course, if Yoko's News, if I survive the disaster, I will also provide the disaster update too. So you could tune into Yoko's News. But just in case Yoko's News didn't work for the disaster, you could tune in to NHK Net Radio. So NHK Net Radio opened on September 1st. So as on September 6, 2011, according to police department, according to September 6, as on September 6, according to Japan Police Department, the death toll of the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami are 15,769 people. The missing toll are 4,227. The total of 19,996. As on September 6. And we actually have new political news that, as you might know already, a new Prime Minister of Japan has been elected. Noda-san became the new Prime Minister, and new cabinet has been formed on September 2nd. Yoko's, I don't want to go into too much political stuff from Yoko's news, so I'm going to kind of avoid making a comment. But as Yoko's news report, say to everyone, Yoko's News is the online website to give you the in-depth report of Japan, because Yoko's News is the first media to report about Tohoku earthquake and tsunami in English on the internet. We report about earthquake 6 minutes after the earthquake happened, and we started this Ustream broadcast 30 minutes after the tsunami hit the North Japan. Keep feeding you so we are the first internet media to report in English about the disaster, but we are also the last media to give you the in-depth report about the Tohoku, because I believe that internet we have lots of resource and time, then we can provide this information. But at the same time, we have, I can do only so much with few people. So even though I have a help from a couple people, I'm doing this as a volunteer basis. So I am professionally trained media. I've been trained in the media, I've been working in the media field for close to 10 years now. So I know the basic, but as you know, I'm taking care of the camera, producer, writer, and I'm translating from Japanese news to English at the same time. So I know I'm not perfect. So I'm telling you that all the information, the news that I'm getting, I'm translating to English at the same time. So I have some error. So I have to emphasize that you shouldn't trust in me 100% of what I do, because I want to give you as much information as possible, but because of that I kind of do it on the go. But on the other hand, it's like I said, people, I'm reading the Japanese media, I'm reading the Japanese government releases, and people ask me, and then so that you can get the Japanese media's aspect of the information and how Japanese people are getting the information about the disaster. So I wanted to give you the aspect of the disaster information. But, people ask me if I believe in the Japanese government releases or I believe in Japanese media's information. And I'm just going to give you this suggestion that you should believe in Japanese government as much as you believe in the government of your country. You should believe in Japanese media's information as much as you believe in the major medias of your country. So, you should compare, you should listen, you should compare all kinds of stuff. Then you are the one who's going to make a decision. So that's the disclaimer from Yoko's News. Next, Mainichi newspaper on September 6, 2011. Even after the almost 6 months, half year passed since the March 11th earthquake, there are still 70,000 people unemployed, according to Ministry of Labor, Land and Welfare. So previously, majority of people working for certain field. However, many people working for the fishing industry, but the fishing industry haven't been restored. But now the construction industry needs a lot of employment and workers because they need to rebuild the town and stuff. But many people are not qualified to be construction workers. So the mismatch is happening in North Japan. But at the same, because of that, still 70,000 people are still unemployed, even after half year passed since the March 11. And then this another news from Mainichi newspaper on September 5th. So still from this March 11th earthquake, about 2,066 beds of the hospital has been lost in North Japan. And they're still having a shortage of the beds in North Japan. So the medical system of North Japan are still having a hard time. And another news from Mainichi newspaper from September 1st. Even with almost the half-year anniversary of March 11th, only 15% of elementary school and middle schools has the constructive plan to reconstruct their damaged building. But rest of the school don't know and don't even have a future plan of whether they are going to restore their school or not. Next, on August 31st, and also today, NHK was also showing that today as well. According to NHK, the many volunteers help scan the picture, and now those pictures are viewable via database, and people are able to check the pictures through the some of the evacuation centers. So what happened is, you might know, the entire house was swept away, all the property was swept away, and then that include the photo album and pictures. Even though you lost your wife, family member, husband, daughter, son, you don't have a picture because they were swept away by tsunami. However, self-defense personnel, many volunteer members try to collect as much picture as possible from the debris and try to bring them back to the original owners. But because they have about close to 1 million pictures, being displaced, it is really very hard to target bringing back to its original owner. So the volunteer group, and also sponsored by a company, they scan these pictures into the computer so that people can check these pictures online. And I watched an interview of NHK that one lady was trying to find a picture of her deceased husband from the tsunami and stuff too. So it was heartbreaking that wife in 10-20 years, because they don't have a picture of his husband and they have no picture of his husband, wife start forgetting about husband's face. It's kind of amazing that if you don't have your family member's picture, you will forget how your husband looked like after 10-20 years. So they didn't want to do it. So this lady was NHK was interviewing the lady who was staring at the computer long hour, trying to find her husband's picture. Next, on August 31st at 7 p.m., and according to NHK and then my Yomiuri, in Fukushima Prefecture, one of the largest evacuation centers had closed at the end of the August in Wakayama, Fukushima. So one time this evacuation center, about 2,500 people were spending time, but now the location is called Big Pallet Fukushima in Wakayama, Fukushima. However, this because of the number of the evacuees has declined, so this largest evacuation center of Fukushima was shut down at the end of the August. There were some evacuees left. However, they found other evacuation center and they tell them to move to other evacuation center. Another news on August 31st, according to NHK, in Iwate Prefecture, almost all evacuation center in Iwaki Prefecture had closed down at the end of August. One time in Iwate Prefecture, there were as much as 400 evacuation center and as much as 45,000 people were spending the time in the evacuation center. But these places were almost shut down because now many people are able to find a temporary housing, or they found an apartment, or they moved to other location and stuff. According to NHK, next on September 6th at 6:15 p.m., Japanese government are planning to many local Japanese government are in Tokyo are planning to make a new law that prohibit people of Tokyo to go back home when disaster happens. So I've been explaining to you many times, especially at the beginning of the earthquake. On the first day of the disaster happened on March 11th, many people start to try to go home. Many people try to come to Tokyo by car because train stopped. All the public transportation stopped in Tokyo. However, that caused super heavy traffic jam and even the foot traffic jam as well. So many Tokyo's local government are planning to set the new law that prohibit people from going home all at once when disaster happen, so that they can prevent from the huge traffic jam to happen, so that ambulance can go through, emergency crew can go through and stuff. Of course, they will try to set up the evacuation center, the shelter, so that they can accommodate and stuff too. And according to Kyoto, on September 6th. So about 4,223 people are still missing, and about about three quarter of these 4,000 missing people, the family member of three quarter of these missing people, they're planning to declare they're dead. So and those paperwork are about to get accepted by the Japanese authority. So about these 3,000 people will be converted from legally missing to legally dead. So once these people are confirmed legally dead, they will be entitled to receive the insurance paper, or they can take over the bank account and everything. So but 3,000 people, 4,200 people are still missing, but family member gave pretty much the news was family member gave up the hope of their loved one are still survived or alive, and then start to accept that their family member are gone. According to Sankei and NHK and Mainichi and many other news sources, on September 1st, as I briefly mentioned, in Tokyo they had massive training against the disaster. So every September 1st. So I just gonna introduce you some of the training that they did. In Tokyo, they actually blocked 97 locations of the street so that they can allocate the street for the ambulance or rescue team or emergency cars. And then also at the Shinagawa station, they did the training to make sure that they can navigate the passenger to outside of the station safely. But because the police department blocked 97 street in the Tokyo during the rush hour, it caused a huge traffic jam in the morning of September 1st. So driver felt inconvenience, but we already learned the lesson that the traffic got completely jammed on March 11th, and ambulance couldn't move at all. And then if ambulance couldn't move, you cannot save the life that it could have saved. So police department did the training to block the traffic of Tokyo during the rush hour of September 1st. Next, the food contamination update. According to Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare, they did the random testing of the green tea from they did the random testing, and then on September 2nd, they found the over the legal limit of the radioactive contaminated material from the tea of Saitama and Chiba Prefecture. According to a Ministry of Health, from the 3 samples of the green tea from Saitama, they found from 800 becquerel to 1,530 becquerel per kilogram of the cesium. And from the green tea of Chiba Prefecture, they found about 2,720 becquerel per kilogram of the cesium. So These green tea are from Saitama Prefecture and Chiba Prefecture as on September 2nd. The Chiba Saitama's green tea is not distributed on the market. Oh, I'm sorry, it's opposite. The green tea from Chiba Prefecture are stopped shipping to the market. So the green tea from Chiba Prefecture are not on the market. However, the green tea from Saitama Prefecture are still in the market. Were still in the market as on September 5th. So according to Yomiuri, and the green tea from Saitama Prefecture that are on the market might be radioactive contaminated more than 500 becquerel per kilogram, and the amount that they found was 800 becquerel to 1530 becquerel per kilogram of the cesium from the green tea leaves. And according to Yomiuri on September 3rd, Fukushima Prefecture said they found about highly radioactive contaminated amount of the cesium from a wild mushroom, chichitake. What's chichitake? Lactarius bolemus. Lactarius. Lactarius. And actually, I never eaten this mushroom before in my life. So, but anyway, so these mushrooms, the amount of the cesium they found was 28,000 becquerel per kilogram of the cesium they found. So Fukushima Prefecture warns the local people that do not take this mushroom, wild mushroom, and eat it. And this is the first time that they found this amount of the radioactive contamination. So Fukushima Prefecture are a little bit shocked. And according to Ministry of Land and Welfare on September 5th, according to Yomiuri, over the legal limit green tea from Saitama are from Sayama tea, and they're from Hitaka City or Tsurumigashima City. And Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare ordered the manufacturer of this green tea to accept the recall, and then recalls. According to Saitama Prefecture, these green tea were cultivated in May, and about 65 kilograms of green tea has been sold through the internet. According to Saitama Prefecture, the test that they did last June was only 240 becquerel per kilogram. But from the new test, they found over the legal limit of the cesium from the green tea of the Saitama. But the type of the green tea is it's called a Sayama tea, and they're from Hitaka City and Tsurumigashima City. And those green tea were over the legal limit. As on September 9th of 2011. Maybe they're gonna be less next year and stuff. So According to the self-defense on August 31st, they have concluded the major mission of North Japan as on August 31st. However, the self-defense continued to deploy 500 to 600 people to Fukushima Prefecture to help clean up the Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant and the victim and the residents of the Fukushima. However, the big mission of the self-defense of the relief effort of North Japan has concluded at the end of August 31st. So since the March 11th, over 5 months, Japan self-defense have been working. Over 200 self-defense personnel have been involved in this relief effort. Actually, when I was driving in Kyoto, I saw a truck going back to Yamaguchi Prefecture in Kyoto from north. So on my eyes too. And then next, according to Ministry of Land on August 31st, so liquefaction symptom that the land became like soil and became unstable, and then all the housing and building lose the structure and then tilted and everything. So that's called liquefaction from the earthquake. And liquefaction occurred in 96 districts, city, town, and villages from the March 11th. So Japanese government, as a national government, they are going to start conducting a nationwide research to find out the causes of the liquefaction and may possibly take appropriate action. And then, but we also have a good news. According to Yomiuri on August 31st, Toyota Motor Company is going to increase the production level of their cars from in the factory in Japan. Since the March 11th earthquake, their factory got damaged, and their parts manufacture got damaged, and they couldn't manufacture enough car. Then after that, they had the electricity problem because many nuclear power plants had to be shut down because people's fear of the nuclear power plant, distrust to the nuclear power plant. So Toyota had to reduce the amount of the production level of their cars. So finally, because of the weather getting cooler in Japan today it was really cool, chilly in Japan. It was kind of gorgeous outside. So Toyota Motor Company is going to bring the production level back on September 1st. We have a good news, but we have a bad news. According to Teikoku Data Bank, Imperial Data Bank, on September 1st, the number of the bankruptcy which might caused because of this East Japan Great Disaster are now about 320. So about 320 companies filed bankruptcy because of the East Japan Great Earthquake, Great Disaster. And most of the category of the company are construction company. And then the Kanto region, Tokyo area, has the most amount, 26 companies in August. And about 5,907 people were laid off. Not laid off yet. The number of the employees from these 320 companies are the 5,907 people. They don't know yet if they've been laid off or not. But anyway, so according to NHK and Yomiuri, on September 1st, the honorary professor of the Columbia University and then Japan literature experts, Professor Donald King, came to Japan. And then he decided to nationalize to Japanese, and he sold his house in the U.S. and he moved to Japan on September 1st. Okay. And according to Yomiuri and NHK and TV Aichi on September 3rd, Summer Fish, they actually held the Summer Fish Festival in Meguro, Tokyo. And then 7,000 summer fish were sent from Miyako, Miyagi, and gave out to the people of Tokyo. So every year, the first weekend of September, in Meguro Station Shopping District, they give out summer fish. They were almost going to cancel this year because Miyako Iwate were damaged by the tsunami, and they were almost not going to do this year. But they managed to carry out the summer festival, and they did it on September 1st, according to Yomiuri and NHK. And then, according to Yomiuri, on September 4th, Kamaishi and Rikuzen Takada Iwate, they started a city council election. And then this is the first local city council election that they held in the disaster area. Originally, in Rikuzen Takada and Kamaishi were going to hold this city council election in April, but because of the disaster, they postponed until now. So some of the candidate of the election lost a family member. So the appealing point of this election, of course, will be how they are going to reconstruct and stuff. However, some of the concern leaves, according to NHK. Some people decide, move to other places. Some people are living in a temporary housing outside of their hometown. Then some of them already turn in like they already turned the change of the address to the local government. So one of the problem is that they cannot vote to the candidate that they really want to vote, or their hometown that they are planning to go back. But But we have also good news, good reconstruction news. In Ishinomaki, Miyagi, they start rebuilding a seaweed farm, but they only were able to seed 40% of the regular year. But in Ishinomaki, Miyagi, they start seeding the seaweed. And then Shiogama Port, Sendai, on September 6th, according to Yomiuri, they finish repairing a giant crane for the container, so that they will be able to start accepting giant ship with container ship in Shiogama Port, Sendai on September 6th. Since June, they only had the crane for the construction. However, they were not efficient. They were only able to transport 10 to 15 container. However, because of because they finished repairing this big crane, they are now able to unload 30 to 40 container per hours. So the port is also getting back their function. According to Zenring is the map company, the company that makes map. You might not know, but you know them. If you use Google Map, Google use Zenring's map for their Japan map. According to Zenring, on September 6th, they are going to reflect temporary housing to their map by the end of this year. So probably starting by the end of this year or beginning of the next year, in the Google Map, you might start seeing the temporary housing. You might start being able to search the temporary housing and stuff. The Zenring also made the special map soon after 95 Hanshin earthquake stuff too. According to Yomiuri on September 5th, self-defense is going to purchase 6 used C-130, the transporting airplane from the U.S. Army or Navy. It doesn't say whether it is Army, Navy, or Air Force, but it just said they're going to purchase 6 used C-130 on September 6th. So that they can transport stuff in case of the disaster and stuff, I guess. And according to Yomiuri and NHK on September 6th, new Prime Minister Noda are planning to visit North Japan and also Wakayama, Nara, and Mie Prefecture. On September 8th, which is about Thursday, September 8th, Prime Minister Noda is going to visit Fukushima. On September 9th, Friday, new Prime Minister Noda-san is going to visit Wakayama, Mie, Nara. On September 10th, he's going to visit Iwate and Miyagi. So, for the first time as a Prime Minister. According to NHK on September 6th, Japan Rail, JR, their sixth line in North Japan had been damaged. However, they don't know when and how they can restore these 6 lines. So, they don't know. So, people in Tohoku, North Japan might suffer the inconvenience of the public transport in that region for a while. Because of their concern is even if they rebuild the train in the same location, they might have to they might have another tsunami coming. So whether they really have to plan carefully, and it might cost more if they're gonna build blah blah blah. So Japan rail system is having a hard time to try to restore the public transport in North Japan, which were damaged by the tsunami. So this has been the update of Tohoku, North Japan, update of tsunami and earthquake. Now we are going to the update of Fukushima Nuclear Power Plant. First of all, let's go with the good news. On September 5th, according to Sankei newspaper, TEPCO said the third nuclear reactor of Fukushima Daiichi power plant, the temperature became below 100 degrees for the first time. So the third nuclear reactor of Fukushima Daiichi went below the 100 Celsius degree for the first time. The location is the bottom of the reactor container. I think the first reactor is already below 100. First reactor's containers is already below 100 degree. So according to experts, if the reactor went below 100 degree, we are considered that it is the state of the cool shutdown. However, we are not sure to say this is the cool shutdown state. So, but the good news is the third reactor also became lower than 100 degree of the reactor. On August 30th, according to Yomiuri, TEPCO said on October 30th that they made a mistake of measuring the radioactive level on site of Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant between March and May. Most of them are because of the human error, and some of them they stated as 1/800th of the actual radiation level. But however, TEPCO said it does not reflect the final data that they already been released. So some of you might remember that TEPCO kept making the mistake to release the data of the radiation level or radioactive contamination level that they found on site of Fukushima Nuclear Power Plant. But as on August 30th, in between March and May, the amount of the mistake were 94 mistakes that they made. But at least TEPCO admit that they made they made a mistake 94 times. So and according to TEPCO on August 30th, they just set the damage pay standard. They're going to set, like, if the victim had to transport within the prefecture, they will pay 5,000 yen per person. If the victim of Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant, the evacuees, had to spend outside, they will pay 8,000 yen per night for the hotel. And they're also going to pay the radiation health check for 15,000 yen per check. That kind of detailed guideline, the basic standard of how much TEPCO are going to pay for the victim and evacuees of Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant. So, for example, according to this basic calculation model of the damage pay, if you are husband and wife and 2 kids of the family, for example, like you evacuated to the gymnasium, the evacuation center, and moved to the temporary housing, and by the end of the August, this 4 family members household will receive about 4.5 million yen in between March and the end of the August. So that kind of calculation model that the TEPCO released on August 30th. And TEPCO said they are trying to pay try to pay this amount by end of October. But NHK, according to Yomiuri and NHK, but NHK interviewed some people that they said they are too late. They want money right now because they lost the job. They lost everything. So they really need money to start rebuilding the life and everything. So according to NISA, Nuclear Industry Safety Agency, on August 30th, they think they found at 14 faults around nuclear power plant all over Japan, which they thought the inactive faults. But those 14 thought to be inactive faults may be now active fault because of the then this might be because of this might be these faults may become active because of the this disaster, but yeah. So some of the active fault could result as much as magnitude 7.6 of the earthquake from the Fukushima's Hatakawa fault. And then, but according to NISA, Nuclear Industry Safety Agency of Japan, these newly found active fault, even with these newly found active faults, that could cause a large amount of the earthquake in the nearby nuclear power plant. These nuclear power plant, Fukushima Daiichi Daini, and then Tokai Village reprocessing facility in Tokai, Ibaraki, these still the facility could withstand against these potential earthquake that they found from this. And according to the beach resort, for example in Minami Boso, Chiba, they said they are going to file a lawsuit, or they are going to ask for the damage pay to TEPCO on August 31st, according to Yomiuri newspaper. According to Minami Boso, they lost large amount of the beach visitor to their beach this year because of the Fukushima Nuclear Power Plant incident and the fear of the radioactive contaminated ocean. So Minami Boso Chiba are going to ask for the damage pay, as well as Kamogawa and Tateyama and one more city which I cannot read the Chinese character. Oops. On August 31st, according to Fukushima Prefecture from Yomiuri newspaper, so Fukushima Prefecture prohibit shipping their beef meat to the market because of the high radioactive contamination of their beef. However, from the recent testing, all 34 cows, their radioactive contamination level went below 500 becquerel per kilogram. So Fukushima Prefecture are decided to allow them to start shipping the Fukushima beef. So Fukushima beef were prohibited stop shipping from the July 19th. So they're going to resume shipping the beef. So from the latest testing, the most amount of the radiation they found were 7.3 becquerel to 44 becquerel per kilogram from 5 cows, that among 34 cows that they tested. So 5 cows out of 34 cows, they had a little bit of the cesium. The amount of the cesium they found was 7.3 becquerel to 44 becquerel per kilogram. And according to government regulation, Japanese government says that meat which is over 500 becquerel per kilogram of the cesium are dangerous, and meat which has less than 500 becquerel per kilogram of the radioactive contamination are safe. So from the sample that Fukushima Prefecture tested was only 7 to 44 from 5 cow, and 29 cows were not detected. They did 29 cows did not have any radiation. So Fukushima Prefecture came out that these beef were safe, and they're going to resume shipping the beef to the market. And so according to TEPCO, on August 31st, they again stopped the water filtering facility to the half because the parts from Aleva had a little bit of the water leakage, and then so their TEPCO spent about 100 million US dollar, 10 billion yen, 50 billion yen, 5 million US dollar to build this gigantic water filtering facility, but this water filtering facility keeps getting trouble. And according to TEPCO, on August 31st, TEPCO turned in the long-term plan how to decommission Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant to the Japanese government. Japanese cabinet, nuclear committees. So even they did not mention how long it's going to take to decommission Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant. However, because 3 Mile Island took them 6 years to finish collecting the nuclear fuel rod, so Yomiuri said that some experts think that it's going to take them 10 years to take the fuel rods out of Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant. According to Sankei newspaper on September 5th, Mayor of Minami Sanriku sent the apology letter to the family of the victim of the Minami Sanriku City Hall. And then because the family member of the victim of the Minami Sanriku city worker sent a questionnaire to the mayor of Minami Sanriku how they were acting against the disaster, because they had quite a casualty in Minami Sanriku, and the mayor replied that they were underestimated the amount of the tsunami. Oh, that's different news. Okay, sorry. According to TEPCO, on August 31st, one TEPCO worker got splash of the contaminated water when they were working at the water filtering facility, and he was exposed to 0.16 millisievert of the radiation. And so they made a mistake. They got splash of the water at the water filtering facility, and then TEPCO workers, or I didn't say if it was TEPCO workers or a independent contractor, but this guy got 0.16 millisievert of the radiation exposure from this water. But they didn't have internal radiation exposure, and stuff. According to Fukushima Prefecture on August 31st, as on July 1st, their population went below 2 million. They lost about 27,000 population, and now the total of 1,997,400 people, the population of Fukushima Prefecture. The Fukushima Prefecture's peak was the peak of the Fukushima population was in 1998. It was 2.13 million people. And then over 13 years, the population slowly declined. And as on March 1st of 2011, Fukushima population was 2.02 million. And then, but for the first time since 1978, the population of Fukushima went below 2 million. According to Chiba Prefecture, on August 31st, they finished testing the rice, and they did not find any over the legal limit rice from Chiba. So most highest amount of the radioactive contamination level that they found from the Chiba was 46 becquerel per kilogram from Ichikawa, Chiba, and it was only one location. And the rest of 270 locations that they sampled, they did not find any radioactive contamination at all. So, according to Chiba Prefecture, the rice of Chiba Prefecture are safe. So, they are going to allow shipping the rice of Chiba because they sampled the rice from 271 locations, and they did find the radioactive contamination from one location, from Ichikawa, Chiba, but their level was 46 becquerel per kilogram. According to Japanese government regulation, they consider that if it's over 500 becquerel per kilogram, it has a health risk, but it was only 1/10 of the health risk level. Chiba Prefecture said it is safe. According to Yomiuri, on September 1st, one of the private high schools which are located within 30 kilometers of Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant is said that they are going to close for a while, and they will not be looking for new students. And then the school said they're really sad that they cannot welcome the new students next year, but they have to deal with the radiation threat because they're located within 30 kilometers zone of Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant. The name of the school is Matsue High School. They're located in Minami Soma. According to Yomiuri and NHK, the residents who used to live within 3 kilometer radius of Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant were able to go back for the second group. So this first group went back from the last report, I think. So people, the residents of the Fukushima who live within 3-kilometer radius of Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant were able to go back to their house for the first time since March 12th. So according to Fukushima Prefecture, because of the East Japan disaster and Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant incident, Fukushima Prefecture's tax revenue is going to decline by 10 billion yen. They thought that they could get about 175 billion yen of the tax revenue, but they think that because of the damages and then stuff, they think they are only going to get they're gonna lose about 10 billion yen of the tax revenue, Fukushima Prefecture, according to Yomiuri on September 1st. According to Japanese government, a victim of the nuclear power plant support team, sorry, I'm doing the random translation, last minute translation, but the Japanese government has a team to support the victim of the Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant incident, and their team went in to test the radiation level of Fukushima Daiichi. And then so I can show you the information. So Japanese government went to monitor the radiation level, and we can check the red icon indicate more than 19 microsievert power. The pink indicate between 9.5 microsievert to 19 microsievert power. Yellow 3.8, between 3.8 and 9.5. The green 1.9 to 3.8. Then here you go. So these are the amount that they monitored. So you can kinda so you can check the what is their radiation level in that region. Their data can be found from METI website, Ministry of Economy, Technology and Industry website, METI website. So according to this, on September 1st, most high amount of the radiation, the location that they found Among the locations that they monitor, the highest radiation spot was Okuma, the one of the town in Okuma, which were 1.5 kilometers southwest from Fukushima Daiichi, which was 139 microsievert per hour. So, yeah. And according to NISA, Nuclear Industry Safety Agency of Japan, Fukushima... Oh, okay, I have a 3-hour limit coming up. And then... Yeah, so I think I have to conclude today's live cast because I have a 3-hour limit coming up 2 minutes in. So that's pretty. Yeah, I can't. I think I can't. I have more news to come up, but it has. I have so much report to do today because of typhoon. So I'm sorry. I did read the important news. The rest were kind of important, but not that important. So I'm going to skip those. Thank you everyone for watching 311 Disaster Update number 51. This is Katz from Yokoso News. Please like Yokoso News on Facebook or please follow Yokoso News on Twitter. If something emergency happen, I will come back to do the emergency live cast. Do the emergency live cast like this immediately. And then next live cast, it's going to be a September 13th at 8 p.m. Japan Standard Time. So that's the next live cast. And I'm thinking about finishing the weekly emergency live cast as the situation is getting calm. So that's the plan for this. So thank you very much for watching the 311 Disaster Update number 51 on Tuesday, September 6, 2011 at 11:27 p.m. right now. Thank you very much. This is Katz from Yokoso News from yokosonews.com. And I